Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Trolltastic 100 here today, and we're going to go over my Nightblade build, which does burst damage, sustainable damage, and also can heal and tank. So first off, you're going to need 184 skill points, and so that's a lot. And I'm V12, which is why I have that many skill points. But the first thing you want to pick up, which is a must-have, is Impale. There's Killer's Blade, and then morphs it into Assassin's Blade morphs it into Killer's Blade or Impale, and Impale is one I go with because of the range you get with it. Second thing you want from Assassination is you want to go ahead and get Ambush, mainly because the stats are what it is and or are what they are, and next attack on that target has 36% more damage. This is mainly for PvP, so it's not really necessary. So for here, you want to have all the passes in Assassination. Alright, so for Shadow, we have Shadowy Disguise instead of Dark Cloak, because look at that critical strike rating whenever you get it up to the max level. Now, concealed weapons, it's a matter of opinion, but if you're going to be running group dungeons and everything, you want to have concealed weapon because the tank's already going to have an armor debuff with ransack, and they don't stack. Now, concealed weapon will give you extra movement speed, which is pretty useful when you're in sneak mode. Alright, now Twisting Path, I actually chose the wrong morph on this one. You want to go ahead and get Refreshing Path for healing purposes. And then for the ultimate, you want to go ahead and get Veil of Blades because it does 2768 damage at max level at V12 and fully leveled up. And for passives, once again, get all the passives in here. Now let's move on to Siphoning. Siphoning, this one, everybody says go Swallow Soul. It's more selfish and whatnot, but it doesn't do as much. It doesn't do as much damage immediately. Well, it does the damage over time, which is not what we want. We want the immediate damage and the spam ability that Funnel Health gives, and it's part of your healing. It's the healing part of the build. Now, you don't need any of this right here. This one's a must-have for places like Ethereum Archive, group dungeons, or some solo play. Its first morph is Cripple, I think, and this is what you want to morph it into. This one's a must-have for your Resto Staff bar. Siphoning attacks, which morphs from Siphoning Strikes. If you even look at Leeching Strikes, I will defriend you, or I will friend you, then defriend you. Alright, now the last one you want from Siphoning, probably the best ability in the game for a Nightblade, would be Drain Power is the unmorphed. Power Extraction is the one you want. Deals 193 magic damage to nearby enemies and increases weapon damage by 11%. 11% for every enemy damage for 20 seconds. And then you can, with Power Extraction, you hit 9 people. That's 99% more weapon damage. Now you want to go ahead and also pick up all these passives right here. This one's one you really need, and that one's really useful for building up ulti really fast. Let's move on to weapon. So for the tanking part of the build, tanking's pretty simple. You want to go ahead and pick up Ransack or Puncture. Crippling Slash is it's alright, but that one's a must. Shield Charge, all the passives what you want. I don't even touch Dual Wield, so don't go near it. For Destruction Staff, which is what I really love to do with on my Nightblade, for single target I go ahead and pick up Crushing Shock, which is Force Shock unmorphed, and I'm not going to read all that, you guys. I'll hover over it for a second while I talk about it. So basically it does all these elemental effects, and it only costs 222 magicka, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, you can get your DPS up to 700, 800 in 3 hits with it if you procs, which is really good. One more thing about it is that it has a knockback on it too when you morph it into Crushing Shock, which will interrupt anybody, PvP, PvE, Ethereum Archive, anything except for bosses. Now this one's kind of controversial. Many people go with Pulsar because of the 10% of reduced damage it gives, but one thing you want to think about is everybody wants Pulsar, so why it doesn't stack. So why not go one that does a dot, which is really if you in the dot stacks, which is the biggest reason I go with this, because you can stack 145 magic damage over 10 seconds 4 times. So over 500 damage over 10 seconds. and also passives, all these passives. Resto Staff, you want to go ahead and pick up healing, Grand Healing, morph it into Healing Springs. You want to hit, I don't remember the unmorphed, but you want to get Combat Prayer. Then you want to get Ward Allies, kind of. But Force Siphon, you want to morph that in Quick Siphon because you can spam it. And then all the passives. Now moving on to armor. So for armor, light armor is what I go with. I go with seven pieces light. We'll get to the armor in a little bit, but for the DPS part of it, you want all the passives. Annulment's alright if you want to get it. We're not even worrying about medium armor. You want to go ahead and pick up all of these for tanking and immovable as well. Now my Nightblade is built as a vampire, so I do have one of the best ultimates in the game, which is Devouring Swarm. Invigorating Drain, I use that whenever I'm doing dolmens to build up ulti pretty fast. The passives in here, you want Supernatural Recovery, Undeath, Unnatural Resistance, and Dark Stalker. That's going to be crucial if you want to play the stealth part of the Nightblade. So, moving on to Fighters Guild, you must have Evil Hunter if you do dungeons, Ethereal Archive, Hellrush, Citadel, Dolmens, whatever. It gives 312 damage immediately. Has a 20% chance to do that immediately, plus the crit you're probably going to get once we get further on into the video. Another thing, you want to get Slayer, Banish the Wicked, and Skilled Tracker. Mage's Guild, this is probably the best ability in the game for a Nightblade. It summons a light, the trap reveals hidden enemies, blah blah blah. Now look at that spell crit, it brings it up 20%. And it toggles on and off, and whenever you pick up these passes, especially this one, increases the spell damage of your next attack by 20% and lasts for 8 seconds. So you pop Mage Light, or Inner Light, you have 28 seconds to pop a spell, and it does 20% more damage. Crucial. So for tanking, you want to go ahead and pick up Inner Fire, morph it into Inner Beast, and then Necrotic Orb is also a must-have for Zerging, PvP. Ethereal Archive is the best ability in the game. For Ethereal Archive would be Necrotic Orb, morph it into Energy Orb. Racial, I'm a Wood Elf, so I picked up all the Wood Elf passives. So that's basically it along the lines of what you need. So I'll run through, I'll just slow down and show you guys the abilities and whatnot I have, and hopefully you guys can watch this, and I'll do a demonstration of how my build works. So I'm going to scroll over these and let you guys just read for a sec. And just a reminder, you need to morph dark or path into a refreshing path, by the way. Just reminding y'all of that. Alright, so that is all of the build part of it you'll need to see. So for the armor, let's go ahead and look at that. So for armor, I have Cal of the Warlock, Epilots of the Warlock, and the Focus of the Warlock for the Magical Flood, which will change in Update 3, so just watch out for that. I'm wearing Twilight's Embrace for the spell crit and the healing buff. Jewelry, I got the Covenant's Wrath of the Imperium set for the extra 10% spell crit. And the Covenant's Ice Staff for an extra 6% spell crit. Resto's Staff with the armor resistance. So for other, I use Inferno Staff, and that's my tanking sword, for tanking armor, I don't know where it went. It's not in my inventory, but we're not gonna worry about that. So now, stats. Alright, so you want to go all health. All health, not even an option. My numbers are quite ridiculous. You'll say, why? Well, I need the stamina, right? Well, no, you don't. If you're using magical, why do you need stamina? To block? Well, that's where Evil Hunter comes in and gives you stamina back. So there's my crit right now, and that's without having the right bar on, I'm pretty sure. So to get your crit back up, you want to go ahead and get your assassination abilities on there, which I should have on there already, but so with that on there, and then pop Mage Light, get your crit up to 68%, and that's without the Thief Stone that gives you more crit. Now for the traits on the armor, I went Divines on everything that I crafted, and these have infused for some reason. And then you want an Arcane Ring, and you want 2 Healthy Rings, and then you want the Ice Staff for the precise part of it. Alright, now let's see, what else do we need? Alright, so that's good, and now I will give you guys a demonstration on how the build works and what I use to do damage. Alright, so here we are in the Rift. I already posted a video of me soloing a dolmen. I'm pretty sure it was this dolmen. But I'm going to go ahead and do this video where I do the dolmen as well, just to show you guys how the build works. Especially the AoE aspect, because everybody thinks that Nightblades aren't supposed to do AoEs. Well, I mean, every class can do an AoE. Nightblades can do it really well. Just don't have the CC part of it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started with this dolmen. Remember to pop your Mage Light before, and then just watch what... Alright, so apparently I died, but not a big deal because it's only one death. And, I mean, doing damage, I mean, not a lot right now, but you'll see in a second what I'm about to do. Sorry about this other person coming along. I did not plan that at all.
She was the best slave.
Alright, so after we finish this dome, I'll show you guys the burst damage aspect of the Nightblade. Alright, so that's that Dolmen. Now I gotta readjust my bar for the burst damage aspect of the Nightblade. Start off with, you always want to be in crouch mode before you go in combat and make sure you're hidden, and I'll show you why right now. So at VR12 against a V10 Sabercat, I opened up with 13 or 1400 damage and 3-shot him. So that's the basic aspect of the basic thing you need to know about being a burst damage Nightblade. You can still use a Desho staff. In fact, I recommend you use a Resto staff or set Desho on this build, and I'll show you that aspect of doing the burst damage as well. Alright, so I'm gonna go find a higher health boss or person real quick. Alright, so basically, like I said, open up with your sneak strike. Alright, so if you didn't notice what I was doing, while I hit them with the Shadowy Disguise and Concealed Weapon, they stun. Then you heavy attack with the Resto Staff to get Magicka back, and then once they get below 25% health, there's nothing else to use except for Impale. Nothing else except for Impale, because it does 300% more damage when they have 25% or less health. So that's all you need to know about the Nightblade burst damage. Let me go pick up my tanking stuff.
Some of my dark elf friends are still upset that Saint Velo.
Alright, so if I don't have my tanking armor in here, this will be basically the end of the video, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll also be posting the hard facts on TESO MMORPG Life.com, and I will leave a link to my build on there as well. So here's my tanking armor. Alright, so for the sake of time and the fact that I don't have a actual group to run dungeons with right now, I'm gonna show you what you need on your bar and basically how you need to do the tanking. So let me set up the bar real quick. Alright, so I went with Siphoning Strikes and Power Extraction because Siphoning Strikes will restore your stamina and your magicka back 3% per hit, and all attacks have a chance to restore 15%. And a shield charge, for the obvious reason I can do this. Where is it at? So I can get that charge in the battle. Inner Beast for the range taunt, and Ransack for the up close taunt to get the boss. And Power Extraction whenever I crit, since I crit a lot. It does 300 damage when it crits, and that will aggro everything for a temporary amount of time while your DPS will DPS the adds down. So basically, that's about it along the lines of the build. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me. My YouTube channel will be obviously in the description, along with my in-game name. I'm on almost all day, and as I said, I'll post a link to the actual physical build on teso.mmorpg.life.whatever. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and have any questions, just contact me. Thanks for watching, guys.